following podcast contains references to the consumption of alcohol. If you are not of legal drinking age, please do not consume alcohol. Also, if you are of legal drinking age, please drink responsibly. Hello, and welcome to Rhetorical Magic Cocktail Hour. My name is Matthew, and my favorite kind of bean is red kidney beans.
And I'm Ryan, and my favorite kind of bean is garbanzo.
Ooh, a nice chickpea.
Mostly because it's really fun to say, but I do love a good hummus.
Like a good hummus, like a good falafel?
God, I want falafel.
I do too. I do too. I looked up a recipe to make falafel the other day because I was like, I want falafel, and I looked at the ingredients. I was like, I can't get half of these. I live in a small town.
It's kind of involved. Next time you're in Joplin, check out Fox Farm.
Do they have falafel?
They might.
Okay.
They're more likely than anywhere in your town.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember Eagle used to have falafel, but then it closed due to reasons.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about falafel today.
Oh, Fox Farm is a grocery store. You can get like a falafel mix, is what I'm saying. It is not a restaurant.
Yeah, I know it's a grocery store.
Okay.
It's that one on like Rangeline that is in like a strip mall.
Yes.
Midwest.
Midwest.
But we're not
I think it's by a Tuesday morning.
It is. But we're not talking about the Midwest. No, we're not. We're not talking about the Midwest today. For half a second, I was like, is Rat Race set in the Midwest? But then I was like, no.
No, it's in Vegas, isn't it?
It's Vegas to Silver City, New Mexico. Spoilers, we're talking about Rat Race today.
We're continuing the bean continuum.
Yes. All bean, all the time.
All bean, 24/7, every day and night.
All hail the bean. All hail the bean. This is going to be
And by bean, of course, we mean Rowan Atkinson.
Yes. And maybe not all hail the bean, Rowan Atkinson, because I don't know that much about him.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway. This is also a podcast where we like to have a drink. Matthew, what you drinking tonight?
So, I'm drinking a nice IPA, and it is called Space Camper Delta Ray from Boulevard Brewing Company.
Nice.
Call me Francis Forever, because I got a space camper. Space camper, show me the beer. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Leinenkugel, not Shandy, because Shandy season is dead.
What's a Shandy? I've never heard of
them, never will again. But I'm drinking a Berry Wheat, or Berry Weiss.
Berry Weiss. Berry Weiss.
You got a song in your heart tonight, huh?
You'll greet me.
I'm here for it.
I've outed myself as a theater. Sorry, I was not looking towards the mic when I started that sentence. I was pouring a beer.
Gotcha.
I've outed myself as a theater kid, and now I'm just gonna lean into it.
Wait, are you drinking your beer out of your coup glass?
No, I'm drinking it out of this special IPA glass I have.
Wow.
I bought a 6-piece beer glass set that has all the fancy glasses you need, but only
Look
one.
At you. I think my next foray into glassware, I think I want to get some funky tiki stuff.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
I want a tiki cup, but I want it to be the shape of a cat. I don't know if it exists, but if it does, I'm gonna find it.
Would 100% say that exists.
Also, tiki drinks just sound good. I think, the seasons changing has got me, nostalgic for summer vibes. And so, anything beachy, even though I don't really like going to beaches, But, like, anything, like, summery and, like, jaunty, I'm just kind of, like, super into right now. We're not talking about that.
We are talking about something summery, because I assume this movie takes place in the summer.
Who knows?
Who knows? It seems like it's summer, though they're in the desert, so maybe it just always seems like summer. But it's Rat Race.
Rat Race. Another Atkinson classic.
Mm-hmm. What's your history with Rat Race?
History with Rat Race. I feel like it's one of those movies that my parents let me watch probably too young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, like, particularly horrendous on the raunch level.
It starts with a joke that I'm not super thrilled about, but that does not probably translate to a child should be watching this, but that's just. But
also, as a child, would I have picked it up? What was the joke? I don't remember.
It's Breckin Meyer's character. I think he's checking out of his hotel room, and the clerk is just like, reading
like,
off his charges.
Porn.
Yeah, and it's yeah.
As a kid, I probably didn't pick up on it. It's fine. It was a different time.
It was pre 9/11.
But yeah, I feel like it was one that my parents probably let me watch too young, and then of course I just found it hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've watched it maybe within the last year, but it's not one that I, like, seek out often.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's anything that you need to see in it, like, every day of your life.
Yeah. What about you? What's your history with it? Where were you when you first watched Rat Race?
I was at my aunt's house. I'm pretty sure I was in the same boat where I watched it probably way too young.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in a different boat in that I don't think I've seen it since I watched it then. Before I watched it last night.
Okay.
And there are things in this movie that I don't remember that we will probably get into. There are, like, whole storylines that I don't remember happening until I was watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, this does happen. Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's a ride, that's for sure.
It's an early aughts comedy, so it's not going to age well.
Yeah. Do you want to give, like, just, like, super brief synopsis?
Sure. Which I feel like will be easy, because I feel like this feels like the perfect movie to synopsize, because there's an overarching plot that's very simple, which is John Cleese is a hotel owner who's very rich, and he picks how many people are there? Like 7 people at random to go on a race to Silver City, New Mexico from Las Vegas. And whoever wins the race gets to keep a bag of money that's in a locked box or a locker in the
train
station. And wackiness ensues, and it feels like a fever dream.
Yes.
And that's the plot.
That is, I feel like that's, like, the overarching. It probably doesn't need to be said, but there are spoilers for this movie ahead. But it's been out since Matthew and I were young children, so at least 10 years.
It's 2001.
So over 20 years.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think it's spoilers. It's just, like...
It's just facts. This is going to be the most factual episode we've ever put out.
Wow, that's exciting. This is new territory for us. How fun.
We need a little disclaimer that says, like, this episode will not be factual.
This episode has no facts. Matthew and Ryan don't know what they're talking about.
So, do we want to, instead of synopsizing the plot, kind of talk about the characters? Because this is very much a character movie.
Yeah,
it's an ensemble cast.
Ensemble cast.
Yeah.
So you already mentioned the John Cleese,
Mm-hmm.
who plays an eccentric hotel worker.
With the worst veneers I've ever seen on a character.
They're horrifying. Ugh. This will be fun. Who Can Ryan Remember is in it. Whoopi Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Who plays her daughter?
I don't remember her name. It's like...
This would have been a great episode for They're in That.
They're in That? I mean, I could pull it up. Her name's like Lene something, or like Lanai something.
Okay. Rowan Atkinson. This is the Bean Continuum. You have to expect Mr. Bean.
Mm-hmm. He plays an Italian character, which is interesting.
A choice.
Yeah.
They made a choice and they stuck with it.
Which, okay, I did read, originally his character was a Chinese diplomat.
Ooh.
Which, Italian feels slightly better, but still not
Italian
great.
does feel better. It definitely feels better than, yeah, okay. Well, that's good. Amy Smart.
Mm-hmm. Who is not
one of the original
seven. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she teams up with, what's-his-face? You said
Breckin
his name.
Meyer.
Breckin Meyer, who I feel like was like an early aughts sweetheart and then like
mm-hmm.
fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Lucille Ball.
Several Lucille Balls.
Several Lucille Balls. John Lithgow. And potentially most important...
Lovitz.
Huh?
John Lovitz.
John Lovett, yep. John Lithgow was Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
Which is a different movie that also has John Cleese in it.
Not in the first one. Yeah. I think I think there is a movie where Farquaad and John Cleese's character are both in it. But I don't think it's the first one.
I'm sure that there is. So John Lovitz, and most importantly, Kathy Najimy.
Yes.
America's sweetheart.
So this is both a Bean continuum and a Najimy continuum. That's hard to say. Can this episode title be the Najimy continuum?
I'm here for it. So that way we can trick our listeners into listening to more Bean content like you tricked me into watching.
The only way to make people listen to Bean content is to trick them. It's in the spirit of the Bean.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm here for it.
And then I feel like we're forgetting somebody. Oh, I remember who we're forgetting. Do you remember?
Guy from Jurassic Park.
The guy from Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Oh.
The wormy guy.
Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not who I was thinking of, but he's also in like maybe 10 minutes of the movie. Granted, I feel like Rowan Atkinson is only in like 10 minutes of the movie too.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Ooh. Seth Green and what's his face?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. The guy with the pierced tongue.
He was also like an early aughts sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. His name's like, I want to say Vince Vaughn, but I know that's not right.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay. I gotta know his name.
But they play ne'er-do-well brothers.
They do play ne'er-do-well brothers.
But yeah, I think that's everybody. Oh, John Cleese's lawyer is played by Dave Thomas, who, as we all know, founded Wendy's. Just kidding. It's a different Dave Thomas. It's the Dave Thomas from SCTV.
Oh, Kathy Bates is in this too.
Oh yeah, she's the squirrel lady.
An actual Gloria Allred.
Yeah. Okay.
His name is Vince Viloof.
Yeah, it was close to Vince Vaughn.
Viloof. I'm gonna say Viloof.
Yeah, Gloria Allred, which was a weird choice.
Yeah. Oh, and Smash Mouth, most importantly.
Oh, how could we forget the climactic Smash Mouth? It's not an early aughts movie if you don't have the song All Star in it.
Yeah.
Which is also the second appearance of All Star in a movie that we've reviewed. Because Mystery Men, I believe, is the first movie with All Star in it.
Ooh.
It
I
started
love
it
that. So we have to watch Shrek now.
all. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think, is there anybody besides John Cleese in the sequels who is in Shrek that has been in anything that we've talked about? I don't think so. I think Shrek is its own self-contained thing.
But it just opens up a can of opportunity there, bud, for more expanded RMCH universe.
Yeah, we can watch The Love Guru and...
Ooh, that's...
I was trying to think of the worst.
Mike Myers vehicle, you picked the roughest one, huh?
I was trying to think of the worst, and that was the one that came to mind.
So I Married an Axe Murderer was a little less yikes.
Mm-hmm. Wayne's World 2.
Mm-hmm.
Austin
Halloween.
Powers. Yeah.
That was a goof.
No, he plays Michael Myers. It's a self situation.
It's a self-insert character.
Yeah, it's his
in
OC.
His serial killer OC.
But yeah, so on their travels, they all kind of have their own adventures. For an ensemble movie, the ensemble rarely interacts with each other.
Which I kind of like. Like, it definitely gives way to, like... For it being a competition, it makes sense that they would all go different ways.
Mm-hmm. You've got, like, powerhouses like Kathy Najimy, Seth Green.
Seth Green, you know shenanigans are coming if Seth Green's involved. Who is another one of, like, an early aughts sweetheart that you don't really see that much of anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was in, like, Buffy and, like, was he in the Scooby-Doo movie?
The second one.
The second one. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Another
I was like, you're just giving me all these movies to add to the list, and it's just like, yes.
Yes.
The Bean is also in the Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh my god.
Oh, I know what we're doing next year.
Is the Illuminati real? But yeah, do we want to talk about some of the shenanigans that come up from level of least yikes to most yikes?
I don't know that I'm prepared to currently rank it in ways of talking, but I will talk about my favorite storyline, which is Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like their scenes were the most dynamic, and the most kind of like, no, Kathy Najimy and John Lovett's family road trip shenanigans are pretty buck wild. But I feel like they're definitely farther down on the yikes continuum.
The John Lovett's Kathy Najimy?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. That was one of the storylines I had forgotten about, and when I was watching it, it was like, oh, yeah. This happens.
Yeah. So let's maybe start with Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter.
Mm-hmm. I feel like theirs is the least surreal.
I feel like surreal might not be. Theirs is the least, like, oof, maybe. So, okay, it starts out where Whoopi Goldberg's daughter, like, hired a psychic to find her. Whoopi Goldberg hired a psychic to find her daughter. Mm-hmm. And then they met up. They got the opportunity. And then they decided to pursue it together. Because I think her daughter is, like, in debt from, like, her business or something.
Yeah, she when she's introduced, she's, like, kind of high-strung business person energy.
Yeah. I just fully remembered the ending, and wow, that was a wild time. And then the next thing I remember is, like, them, like, rushing around going, and they're just kind of driving through the desert, and then they come across Kathy Bates.
Mm-hmm. A legend.
A total ledge. And Kathy Bates offers to sell them a squirrel, and they're like, no, we don't want a squirrel, we just want directions.
Mm-hmm.
And then Whoopi Goldberg's daughter kind of snaps at her, which, like, is fair. Like, there's a lot on the line here, and
$2 million, which
right now is not a lot of money.
Or,
I mean, it's more money than I have, but it's like,
in this economy,
that could maybe buy you a house.
But, yeah, they ask Kathy Bates for directions.
Mm-hmm. And she gives him directions, and then they take him. It takes them down like this wild, like twists and turns, and then like all these signs pop up that are like, "You should have bought a squirrel."
Mm-hmm.
And then they crash, and then there's like a lot of cars and dead people. It's like this was not Kathy Bates' first murder.
Yeah. This is canonically a sequel to Misery. The movie where she kidnaps James Caan.
Mm-hmm. And then they like walk through the desert. Is that what happens? And they come across like a
experimental land speed record breaking car.
Yeah. Because they drink their little water, and then they find out the speed of the car. And is the plan of the car to like go to New Mexico anyway?
I think the car is just trying to break the land speed record.
Okay. But they steal the car, and they go super duper 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 fast.
Mm-hmm. They do break the land speed record. It is canonically stated in the film.
Yes, they do break the record. And that's the last thing I remember about them until like right before.
Their story does take a little yikes turn in that when the car runs out of fuel, they like stumble out and into like a group of mentally disabled people.
Yes.
And they get confused for mentally disabled people because they're kind of shaken up from the car ride.
I do remember that. Yes.
But luckily that bus is going to where they're going, so it works out. But it's still a little yikes.
Yeah, that is a yikes moment that I did not remember. Yeah.
Which is just Rat Race, if you think about it. It's just yikes moments that you don't remember.
It's just a rat race. Do you want to talk... who was your favorite group, maybe?
Oh, favorite's a weird word in relation to this
Which
movie.
Group did you want
the most
to
memorable, maybe. So, I feel like...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is really true. I feel like the movie is presented in a way that Breckin Meyer is the one that you root for.
Okay, I can see that.
I feel like he's presented as the most redeemable because he's like a lawyer who wants to do like everything legally so he can be like a Supreme Court justice or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he meets Amy Smart, and then they realize like that she can fly, so she's gonna fly him.
Mm-hmm.
But then they take a pit stop at her boyfriend's house, which is played by Dean Cain in a weird cameo that you never really see his face.
Is that a goof?
No, that's for real. That's 100% real. Her boyfriend is Dean Cain, but
Is that Dean Cain?
Yeah, it is. But he is cheating on Amy Smart, and like they're hovering over his house with a helicopter. And then she like tries to. I don't think she tries to kill him with the helicopter, but she spooks him. And then the helicopter runs out of fuel, and they steal his truck, and then... I don't remember anything about them after that. Oh, they try to siphon the cops' gas.
And then, like, the truck breaks down.
Yeah. And then I don't remember how they get to...
I don't either.
Okay. I just remembered... Oh, okay, we're going to talk about Mr. Bean next, because I remember, like, the most wild... I feel like his route holds up the best.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, if you ignore the fact that he's playing an Italian man. But, so, Mr. Bean, I'm just going to keep calling him Mr. Bean, because I think his name...
that's his name at this point.
Yeah. I think his name's, like, Enrico something. But, he's a... he plays a narcoleptic man, and the first maybe third to half of the movie, he's just asleep, standing in the atrium of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he wakes up, he runs outside and gets hit by Wayne Knight, who is a medical transport person who's transporting a heart for a transplant.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, you're fine. I didn't mean to hit you. I will take you wherever you need to go." And Mr. Bean's like, "Oh, great." So they go on a trip, and then...
I'm sorry, did Mr. Bean say to the beach?
To the beach. Yes. But basically what happens is after some beautiful prop comedy, Mr. Bean accidentally throws the heart that is being transported out the window, and they try to find it. A dog has it, and then they try to get it back from the dog, and the dog runs into an electrical fence, and then they get the heart, but it has holes from the dog's mouth in it, and then Wayne Knight's like, we'll find a drifter, we'll kill the drifter, and then he kind of looks at Mr. Bean and is like, where did you say you were from? And then Mr. Bean's like, oh, I'm from Italy, and he's like, do you have any family? And Mr. Bean's like, oh no, my papa's dead, and so is my mama. And then he realizes what Wayne Knight's gonna do. And so he jumps on a speeding train, but not in the way you're thinking. Like, he should be dead.
He jumps in front of a speeding train, basically, right?
It's like a bullet train, yeah. No, it's not in front, it's like on the side, but it looks like he should die. Which leads me to my first theory, in that Mr. Bean is an immortal trickster god.
He is.
But yeah, when he jumped on that train, I was like, is this going to be a second movie that we've watched where he steals a child on a train? Because when he's on the train, he's sitting next to a baby, and it's just like, is this a theme in his work?
Just baby snatching?
Baby snatching on trains?
Yes.
But
Bean was a wild time. Who else haven't we covered?
Cuba Gooding Jr. and his bus.
Yes. I can talk about that if you want.
Okay, yeah.
So Cuba, I don't remember how he got to the... Oh, he tries to get a taxi, right? And, like, Cuba is a ref who made, like, a bad call. That, like, messed up a game for, like, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so he takes a taxi, and then, like, partway through, the taxi driver, like, realizes who he is and abandons him in the desert.
Yeah.
Which, like, dick move, dude. Come on. So he, like, walks to the desert in a, Did the taxi driver take his shoes?
He, like, takes all his clothes.
But he was...
Except for, like, his undershirt and his underwear.
Okay. But he, like, rips off the undershirt and, like, wraps it around his feet.
I think he takes, like, his pants and his shoes. Because, yeah, he wraps his shirt around his feet, if I remember right. It doesn't necessarily matter.
But he, like, wanders through the desert without shoes, makes it to a bus station, goes into the bathroom where he meets the bus driver, makes up this bizarre story about his wife giving birth and needs the bus driver's clothes.
Yes.
Leaves the bus driver naked in the bathroom and steals the bus. And when he gets on the bus, it is a very consistent cameo of Lucille Ball from like a Lucille Ball convention, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're on their way to a Lucille, or I Love Lucy convention. It's a bunch of Lucille, I keep wanting to say Lucille Bluth, but that is not correct.
No, it's
Lucille Ball impersonators.
Yeah. And then bus at some point breaks down. The Lucys try to help him change the tire. Tire goes flying down the highway because they did it in like a Lucille Ball shenanigan type way.
Real wacky.
Real wacky, real wild. And then what happens?
Then the bus falls over for some reason. Yeah,
the bus falls over. All the Lucys cry. And then I don't remember how he gets the rest of the way.
He's like, he tells them that he's not the bus driver, and they get mad and like chase him. And then he finds a horse, and then he rides the horse the rest of the way.
Okay. Yep. I remember that now.
Yeah. It's for sure a movie where it's like you don't remember what happens until somebody tells you. And then you're like, oh, that did happen.
The whole movie feels like a fever dream.
Mm-hmm. An early aughts fever dream.
Yes. And also a part of me did get confused for a second, because in my head I was like, and then he, like, has, like, a team of dogs drag him, but that's just Snow Dogs, and that's a different Cuba Gooding Jr. movie. That is nothing film. Like Rat Race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. I feel like we have two groups left. Do you want to do the brothers, or do you want to do the Yikes?
I would love to do Seth Green and Vince, what's his name?
Maloof.
Yeah, I'm scared to talk about the John Lovitz one.
Yeah.
Sorry, John Lovitz, Kathy Najimy. Besides the fact that the phrase prairie dogging is used at the beginning of this film, and I knew that phrase, and I don't know that I had remembered where I learned it, and then I watched this film, I was like, oh yeah!
This is where I learned it.
That's the origin of prairie dogging it. But yeah, so I feel like Seth Green and Vince Valoof's storyline is sort of it's presented in three parts.
Mm-hmm.
The first part is they try to get a plane ticket, which obviously a pre 9/11 movie, because they just roll up to the airport and just like, we need a ticket to Albuquerque.
Would you mind explaining how they entered the film?
How they entered the film? Yes, because this is the big Gloria Allred cameo, or one of it's one of the two Gloria Allred cameos, because she's also there when Mr. Bean gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I saw everything. And so Seth Green and Vince Valoof are introduced in this film by Seth Green sets a shot glass down on the floor, and Vince Valoof is going to step on it and slip, and they're going to sue the hotel. But instead, a woman walks by and slips on it herself and falls down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gloria Allred just pops out of nowhere. It's just like, I'm Gloria Allred. I'm a lawyer. I can sue. And Matthew is like, excuse me? What just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she here? But yeah. So they go to the airport. They can't get a ticket. And then they're like, well, if they say in the airport, well, if we can't fly, nobody can fly. Which would not fly today. No pun intended. But then they try to... Do they try to take down the air traffic control? Like...
Yeah. They try to, like, break the satellite that, like, transmits the radio.
Yeah, but instead their car somehow gets, like, wrenched up the tower.
Mm-hmm.
But they still manage to break it, so all the flights get grounded.
Yeah.
And then... I don't remember what happens next, but somehow they end up in a car.
And then they go to get, like, a key exchange. Or they go to get, like, a second key made for the locker.
Yeah, because everybody has a key to the locker, and they're like, oh, we should split up. That gives us 2 chances to get to the locker first. And they're like, we only have 1 key. And so they go to the locksmith, but then for some reason the locksmith cheats them.
He overhears them talking about the plan and how much money they could win.
Okay.
And so he makes himself a key and then gives them a fake.
Okay. Yeah, I was not paying super close attention, so I was kind of confused at that part.
Yeah.
But so they chase the locksmith into a hot air balloon festival. The locksmith steals a hot air balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Then they chase the hot air balloon into a field of cows. And one of the cows gets wrapped up in the hot air balloon. But they get the key back.
Mm-hmm.
But the cow on the hot air balloon goes off flying. But remember that, because it's going to be very important to the plot later.
Yes.
And then I want to say what happens next is they're driving down the road and they see a car that has a woman with piercings, and Vince Valoof's character, one of his character traits is he tried to pierce his own tongue, and it got real infected. But the woman that has the piercings and Vince Valoof are showing off their piercings to each other. And she flashes them because she has piercings on her chest area.
She has nipple piercings.
Yes.
We're adults. We can say nipple.
It's not just nipple, though, because she has, like, chains that are, like, going down, like, it's intricate from what you can see. It's not, like, full. It's a PG-13 movie, so it's not, like, full on.
Yeah.
But they drive off the road into a monster truck rally.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up at the end of the row of the cars that the monster truck is jumping over. In a scene that looks a lot like they are about to get crushed by a real monster truck, even though I don't think that's true. But it looks too good to be special effects. But they get out and then they steal the monster truck?
I think so.
And I think after that they end up in Silver City, but I might be missing something. So yeah, would you like to talk about John Lovett and Kathy
Not
Najimy?
Not especially, but I will.
I'm so sorry to do this to you.
Yes. Trigger warning anti-Semitism, but mostly mocking mocking Hitler is not anti-Semitic. It's good to mock Hitler, horrendous things. Also, don't drug your children. Yeah,
there's some plot points in this one that feel bad.
Yeah. So, John Lovitz and Kathy Najimy are on a family vacation with their 2 children.
They're going to go see David Copperfield.
Yes. Kathy Najimy very much wants to see David Copperfield. And then John Lovitz says that there's like a... Basically to, like, get his wife to, like, leave and, like, let's go here. He says that there's a job opportunity in Silver City, New Mexico. And he has an interview. So the family packs up. They head out. They stop at a restaurant and they're, like, complaining about... Oh, because he's just driving a lot.
You have missed a very, very big plot point in between those two.
What is it?
In between those two, they go to the Barbie Museum.
Does that happen first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah. Kathy Najimy tries to save the trip by, like, still doing, like, fun family things. It's also implied that the family is Jewish, yeah?
Yeah. When they are at the Barbie Museum, it is implied that they're Jewish.
But, and so their daughter sees a roadside attraction that is the Barbie Museum. And they're like, let's go see it. Turns out it is like a Nazi memorabilia museum. Like, Barbie was like a famous Nazi, maybe? An infamous Nazi? So they go to the Barbie Museum, find out that it's Nazis. They go on a tour with, like, a bunch of neo-Nazis. What happens to their car that makes them take?
I think Seth Green and his brother see that it's their car and they sabotage it.
Okay. So their car gets sabotaged, so they steal Hitler's convertible. And they start driving, and then Kathy Najimy, like, goes through, like, the glove box and finds Eva Braun's lipstick. And then, for some reason, the lighter bit gets pulled out.
Well, John Lovitz gets some lipstick on his finger, and he wipes it on the steering wheel. And then he's like, what's this? And it's the lighter thing. And that's, yeah.
And then he burns his finger.
But a certain finger. His middle finger.
Oh. His middle finger. They swerve off the road. Something happens, and he brakes really... Is this where the cow comes in?
No, this is maybe the biggest yikes of the whole movie, where he burns his middle finger, so he's holding it up, and he looks over, and there's a biker there.
Okay.
A biker woman. And he says a not great word instead of bike by accident.
Okay.
And the biker like calls on her biker gang and they attack the car.
Okay. And the car has like Nazi stuff all on the side, right?
Yeah, it has like Nazi flags going down the side.
Yeah, so, and then that runs them off the road, something, he, like, slams on the brake or goes off the road, and then okay, it's not off the road, but he, like, flies through, like, a veteran convention, and, like, when he hits the steering wheel.
And the lipstick gets on his upper lip in a certain mustache form.
And then he's speaking, he, like, bites his tongue, maybe, or burns his...
I think he burns it on the cigarette lighter for some reason.
Yeah, and then he starts speaking gibberish that is supposed to imitate German, and the veterans mistake him for mocking them by acting like Hitler. And it was like a World War II memorial thing.
Yeah. And one of the veterans shoots at them, and then they run away.
Yes.
And that's when they go to the restaurant.
And then they go to a restaurant, which I said a bit ago. And Kathy Najimy is just like, all right, we've had enough. We just need to go home. And he's like, no. And then he, like, goes for a walk. He's like, we'll figure it out when I get back. And then he goes for a walk. He finds, like, sleepy time medicine, basically, like NyQuil. And he's like, I'm going to get you all milkshakes. Doses the milkshakes with the medicine. Family conks out, and he drives the rest of the way to Silver City.
Yeah, they hitch a ride with the trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't think we've talked about the big finale, but the big finale is Mr. Bean gets there first somehow, but he falls asleep unlocking the locker. So then they all unlock the locker, and lo and behold, it's empty.
It's been taken by John Cleese's assistant.
Yeah.
Played by David something.
Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas.
But and then there's there
is a sex worker with him.
That John Cleese. So John Cleese's character throughout the movie is like hanging out with his rich friends and they're betting on stuff. And she comes into the picture in one of their bets to see like how much a weird thing will cost.
Yeah.
But she ends up stealing the money with Dave Thomas, but Chekhov's cow appears and they get crushed by a cow in their car.
Yes. And then the money gets carried away with the hot air balloon. And flies over a Smash Mouth charity event.
Yes.
And so all the ensemble, like, runs in. They, like, run on stage or something, right? And then they announce how much money it is. And they're like, we're going to split it. And then Smash Mouth takes it as, like, they're making that donation.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it seems
and
bad
then they get
to
guilted into... They get guilted into giving the money to charity.
Yeah. And then Smash Mouth plays All-Star, and the movie's over.
You
know, part of me wants to try to analyze this film, but the smarter part of me realizes that there's just not much to actually analyze. It's an early aughts film.
So, one thing I did want to bring up with you is I feel like this movie begins trying to establish like characters for each person, and then I feel like the characters they establish don't really play into the movie at all.
Yeah, it's the early aughts. It was the Wild West of media. You just did whatever you wanted. Everything was like goof, laugh,
goof troop,
Smash Mouth, and end credits. That's all you needed to do.
All you needed in the early aughts to make a movie was Smash Mouth.
Smash
If
Mouth.
you had that, you had a movie.
Goofy moments, and then Rowan Atkinson doing something wild.
Yeah.
That's it.
Another thought I had was he has one mode, and that mode is Mr. Bean.
Okay, yes, but also we should watch a Blackadder Christmas next year.
Or we should watch Johnny English.
Or
we should watch Blackadder.
I was gonna say, or we watch the live action Scooby-Doo.
I would. So I don't want to spoil it for the listeners, but I would watch Scooby-Doo out of the most out of all those.
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, I definitely agree that like they try to establish characters and then whatever happens to them doesn't really have anything to do with their character. Mm-hmm. It just kind of happens. But I think that that's just like a kind of a sign of the times moment with early aughts screenwriting.
That's fair.
Especially when you have so many people to establish, like, you don't really have to. A lot of it is based off of, like, what you know about the actors more than, it's the characters themselves.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I did just also remember is a very beautiful sequence at the beginning, which is the beginning credits.
Oh, that bomb song?
That song, and then also, like, the weird, like, their faces...
The,
like Amanda Anaconda onto bodies or whatever that show is called.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst font I've ever seen in my life over just some clouds.
Wild time. The early aughts truly were a wild time. Do you have final thoughts on Rat Race, Matthew?
So... I feel like I liked the prequel Mouse Hunt a little bit better. Nathan Lane really made the prequel. They didn't bring him back for the sequel, which kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
But, and the mouse didn't really come back either, so it was like, why is this the sequel?
Yeah, the mouse definitely became metaphorical and transitioned into being a rat, which was kind of strange, but... Mm-hmm. It makes sense if you dig deep into, like, the canon and the lore of, like, the Mouse Hunt cinematic universe.
Mm-hmm. Which, as we all know, is Mouse Hunt, Rat Race, and then the Stuart Little trilogy.
Which also has an esteemed British actor.
Hugh Laurie. And I think Gina Davis. And Jonathan Lipnicki. Is that right?
I don't know.
The little vampire?
Maybe. Would you watch it again, or does it belong in, like, the nostalgia zone, would you say?
I think that it belongs in the nostalgia zone. I don't know that in the year of our Lord 2021, watching it, I felt great for having watched it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were definitely parts where I chuckled.
Yeah.
But I feel like those parts were outweighed by the parts where I was going, what? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. We're gonna make this joke?
Ooh.
Hee ho. But yeah, I mean, I feel like for the time, it was good. Mm-hmm. Time has passed. We have grown. Maybe we shouldn't watch it again. What do you think?
I agree that it probably needs to stay in the nostalgia zone, or in the context of it is only a film that I watch if my family wants to watch it. Mm-hmm. Matthew had a big thought. I want to hear it.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just had... Okay, so it's 2021. Mm-hmm. You and me are tasked with remaking Rat Race, but better.
Uh-huh.
Who's our ensemble?
Oh, Jesus. I want Kathy Najimy to be the hotel owner.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. Starting strong. Who's her assistant? I had a thought, but I don't know if you would agree.
I want to hear who you think the assistant should be.
Kate McKinnon.
I'm here for it. I was thinking somebody akin to Kate McKinnon. So yes, I'm here for it.
Okay. So we got those two.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say is the Seth Green of our time?
The Seth Green of our time.
Okay. Play with me in the space.
Okay. I'm playing.
Seth Green and Vince Valouf also play their characters in the remake.
Okay. I'm here for it. I could see it. It's just them doing the same thing and then somehow...
Shot for shot remake of their scenes.
Yeah, I feel like their stuff was potentially the least problematic.
Yeah. I would say so.
Honestly, the rest of the cast, like, part of me is just saying... I want Rowan Atkinson to play all the parts.
Oh. What if we... Okay, play with me in this space.
Okay.
What if we just take everybody, and since Kathy Najimy is gone, what if we just moved everybody over one spot?
Okay.
So it's like, John Lovitz is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is Breckin Meyer's character. Amy Smart is Kathy Najimy's character.
Okay.
Who does that leave? I don't think this works.
I don't think it does either, but I'm here for it. Everybody just gets shifted one over.
But I think we need to add somebody.
Yeah.
To fill the Kathy Najimy void.
And we
Bette
have
Midler?
The title of the episode.
Bette Midler?
Bette Midler.
What if it was the cast of Hocus Pocus?
See, originally when you said it, I was like, I just want the cast of Twilight to do it.
Ooh, that would be fun too.
Yeah. Just like fill them out and just make them do different bits and pieces. And like the entire cast, not just the vampires, but like...
Mm-hmm. So like, okay. So, I want Edward, and by Edward I mean Robert Pattinson,
mm-hmm.
to be the Cuba Gooding Jr. character, because I want to see Robert Pattinson in a bus full of I Love Lucy's.
Yes.
Who would be the John Lovitz Kathy Najimy?
Obviously Kristen Stewart would be John Lovitz.
Okay, who's the Kathy Najimy? Who's the Kathy Najimy of Twilight?
The Kathy Najimy of Twilight is obviously Alice. It's a power lesbian couple.
Okay.
Their children are both played by Chuck Esme.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just the animatronic version of Renesmee. Like the creepy baby.
Yeah. I feel like Taylor Lautner, if we're doing complete Twilight,
mm-hmm.
Taylor Lautner should be Vince Valouf.
Okay.
And I think...
Mike Newton.
Who's that?
The guy who has a thing for Bella, but Bella and like dates Anna Kendrick.
Oh, movie guy.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I was thinking Charlie.
Charlie and Taylor Lautner as brothers?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say Charlie as Breckin
Breckenmeyer.
Yeah. He's good. He's a good boy.
Mm-hmm. Then who would be Amy Smart?
Probably Esme. Edward's mom.
Okay, that's...
No, it's gonna be Charlie and then Carlisle.
Oh,
everybody's gay in this one.
That's it. Rat race, but gay. Love it. Here for it. 2021.
Yes, and then the brothers can be Taylor Lautner and then the kid who plays Embry. He's a full-grown adult now. No, Taylor Lautner and Kellen Lutz. Both those meatheads playing brothers. They take a real jock turn for the emo vibe.
I don't hate it.
2 himbos, what more can you ask for?
I mean, I feel like it's the closest casting that we've gotten to the original.
Yeah. The mother-daughter, then you could probably open up for Esme and Rosalie to play. Or play with me in this space, Bryce Dallas Howard and the original Victoria.
Oh, that would be... Would it be... Oh my god, I completely forgot about the extended universe. Who's Michael Sheen playing? I feel like he would be great as...
Bean?
Oh, okay, yeah. That's not what I was going to say, but I like it more than what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say as John Cleese, but is okay.
Kathy Najimy is John Cleese.
Okay, so she's staying.
Her and Kate McKinnon are stuck. Like, that's them.
Okay, everybody else is Twilight. Okay, yes. I'm in the space now.
Okay.
So I think we solved it.
I do too. Hire us. Sony,
I don't think
Paramount, Warner Brothers.
Wait. Oh, I did forget. Who's Smash Mouth? Is it still Smash Mouth? Is it Play With Me in This Space? Blink 182. Ooh.
I'm gonna say yes, just because... actually, no, I just want to see another MCR reunion, so it's gonna be My Chemical Romance.
It ends with the Black Parade.
It ends with the Black Parade. I'm thinking Black Parade, or like I could also see us taking it another way, and it could be Paramore, but they do play Decode to bring in another level of Twilight.
It's Bon Iver and Saint Vincent, and they play Rosalind, and it's a weird tonal shift in the movie, or it gets real depressing at the end.
I'm here for it. Hell yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
We solved it. I mean, we solved Rat Race and made it better. So this has been... We already did Final Thoughts, so I don't want to go back to it.
Was Final Thoughts.
Rhetorical Magic Cocktail Hour. Follow us on socials at at Rhetorical Magic. Be good to one another, and make good choices.
Don't watch Rat Race.
Don't watch Rat Race. Who would you recast for Rat Race?
Yeah, let us know in the comments of the YouTube video.
Please do.
Go find the YouTube version and comment there.
Yes. But yeah, as we say at the end of every episode... Clink, clink.
Ooh.
I like how we just both keep going for a minute. Ooh, which reminds me, we have something to talk about after this, but it's not going to be relevant. Anywho.
Okay.
Just remind me of serial killers after we're done.
Okay. That's a fun...
That's a fun topic we're going to talk about.